In this video, we're going to use VMware vCenter Converter in order to convert a physical machine into a virtual machine. Now you go to VMware.com and then under Downloads, go to Free Product Downloads and then select vCenter. Now you need to have an account. You see under Products, there's VMware vCenter Converter Standalone 6.2. And then you click on Go to Downloads. .6.2 and then downloads, and now you need to have an account. I already have one, so if you don't have one, just click on register. So this is my email, and then I put my password, and I should be able to download the tool immediately. Okay, it takes a while to download, but once it downloads, I'm gonna fast forward, and now I'm gonna start the installation. The download itself, it may take a couple of minutes. It depends on your download speed. Now to install it, you run the executable and then just hit next. It's pretty much, you take the defaults, and now you can change the location of the installation if you wish. I'm going to select local installation. Okay, once it finishes, you run it, and this is the way it looks. This is the interface of VMware vCenter Converter. Now I'm going to select Convert Machine. Now you can do a remote computer if you want. If you see the bottom, the section, you can specify an IP address, a username, and a password, and you can select a remote machine. Now in my case, I'm not doing a remote machine, so I'm going to select this local machine, because I'm trying to virtualize my own computer where this software is running. Alright, it detects that this is a Windows 10 computer. The VMware workstation. Now you can change the computer name if you wish. I'm going to leave the default. That way I can be able to identify it, that this is my computer once virtualized, but you can change the name if you want. And you can also change the location. This is where I want to store it. It's a large file. It's more than 200 gigs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to store it. I have an external hard drive. It's a 4 terabyte drive. It's a USB 3.0. So that's where I'm storing my virtual machine. Now you may get some warnings here. Those are not error messages. It's still going to work. But the warnings, you can hit an edit and make those changes right now, or you can make the changes later. Now in this case, one of them, it's the memory. It's 15 gigs of memory. So I'm going to actually change those settings, but I'll do it later. Once I create the virtual machine, I'll come back and make some changes to the hardware itself. Now if you want to see the details, so you see all the warnings, and just to see what those warnings are all about, you see, and it gives you the option to make some modifications if you wish. I'm not going to do anything right now. I'm going to leave it like that, and then I'm just going to continue with the actual conversion. This is my summary, and then click finish, and it'll start. I'm going to fast forward because it's going to take at least more than an hour for sure. It's a long process, so I'm going to have to fast forward the video and then we'll come back when it's done. I see estimated time remaining, it's 1 hour and 3 minutes. Alright, so after an hour, this is where my virtual machine is. It's already done. And these are my files. This is my VMDK file. It's a virtual machine. And that's the name of my computer. Oh, we're done. The actual converting of my physical machine into a virtual machine, it's complete. And now I can use VMware workstation to run this virtual machine. And I want to put it side by side with my actual desktop, that way you can see it, and just so you can see that the computers are identical. It's a clone of my actual physical computer. So I'm going to run VMware workstation. I'm going to select open a virtual machine because the virtual machine is already created. I'm going to look for this folder where I stored it. It's still in my D drive. Here's my VMDK file, and then click open. Like I said before, I'm going to make some changes to the memory. I'm going to lower the memory. My computer has 16 gigs of memory, but of course I'm not going to use all 16 gigs of memory, because remember that whatever RAM you use on the virtual machine, you take away that memory from your physical machine. So I'm not going to do that because that's all the memory that I have on my physical machine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lower this number on my virtual machine to 4. You see, so out of the 16 gigs that I have on my physical computer, I'm only going to use 4 for my virtual machine. So you see, now I changed that to 4, and then I'm just going to click play. It uses the same credentials, by the way, so whatever credentials, whatever accounts you have in your physical computer, you're going to use the same credentials to log in to your virtual machine. I'm going to do send control alt delete. I'm going to type the username and the password. It's the same one that I use to log into my physical computer. Now I'm going to move the screen a little bit, that way you can see my desktop. Once it loads on my virtual machine, it's identical to my actual desktop on the computer because it's a clone of my physical machine. So this is how you convert a physical computer into a virtual machine.